Brian Alvarez here. You're listening to the Kicking Out Podcast, a podcast about All Elite Wrestling, hosted by Tanner Lee, Paul Zartman, and Austin Shepard.
You are listening to the number one AEW podcast, the Kicking Out Podcast, a podcast about All Elite Wrestling, hosted by my favorite host, Tanner Lee, Paul Zartman, and Austin Shepard. So if you want to know everything that's going on in the world of All Elite Wrestling, AEW, then you need to listen to the Kicking Out Podcast. Please tell Thunder Rosa I said hello.
What is up, everybody? It is Sunday night. It's June 8th, 2025. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast coming at you live on the Kicking Out Podcast YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, hit that notification bell. Do all that good stuff and more at Kicking Out Pod on all social media platforms. I'm Tanner Lee, co-host Paul Zartman in the house. Paul, another two-man show.
I know. My work schedule, unfortunately, has had me working a lot of Sunday nights, so I haven't been able to be here. And I was like, yes, we're going to be here. It's going to be a three-man crew. And then I find out earlier today it's only a two-man crew again. So good thing I didn't have to work tonight.
Yeah, well, glad you're here. And as everybody remembers that tuned in last week, Shep and I were discussing that we had a big golf tournament going on this weekend, but Shep said he'd be here. He just might not be sober, but yeah, he informed me earlier. He was playing in the group behind me today. He informed me there was a good chance he wasn't going to be on the pod tonight. So here we are. Maybe next week we'll have all the three-man crew back together, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'll be here. I know that much.
All right. So Margin's in the house.
What's up, Margin?
The real Canadian is here. Everyone to know I ain't talking about Wayne Gretzky. Well, Wayne Gretzky's got the nickname of the Great One. I don't think you got that nickname, Margin.
You can keep the real Canadian. He'll keep the Great One.
Yep. He's rooting for the Panthers. Steffi says go Oilers. But Margin does like your hat, even though he called you a jabroni.
I'll always rock the Mighty Ducks, man. Or the Ducks, as they're called now. But
the Ducks. Stephen Chambers, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've been having a good Sunday. Yeah, and Indiana Pacers are playing game 2 of the finals tonight, so which I would have put on behind me, but I don't know. I don't know what we can and can't get in trouble for here on YouTube. I think I would be okay if I threw it on behind me, but I won't take the risk. I'll follow it on my phone. So,
yeah,
and,
that's why I just threw on Fyter Fest.
There you go. Steve says, shucky, quack, quack, ducks suck.
Yeah, well, you know.
I do agree, Majin. In regards to
Yes.
Paul's hat, that is one of the best sports logos of all time. They should go back to that logo instead of their current one.
Absolutely.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
So,
Well,
in honor of Shep not being here, normally, you know, we always see him drinking out of his tumbler. So I brought me a tumbler tonight. It is non-alcoholic, but I have the tumbler, so at least there will be a tumbler on the podcast.
Yeah, and I'm boring this week. Just got some agua, some H2O, hydration. I got a lot of sun this weekend, and I haven't drank a lot of water. So
I'm just drinking apple juice. So
yeah, that's my preferred juice of all juices is apple juice. So yeah. Majin's about to make himself an alcoholic Dr. Pepper, and Stevens just got bottled water. All good.
Yeah, well, Masha needs to be drinking some water. You know, them wildfires up there in Canada need some help.
Yeah, we're seeing the effects in our skies down here. Air quality. Yeah, man.
Air quality alert through midnight tonight. Just had a brief thunderstorm right before we started this.
Yeah, we haven't had one, but I did see one of the neighboring counties is having a severe thunderstorm warning. So there might be one to roll in through during the pod, but we'll see.
Yep. So
We'll
if we
see.
lose Tanner, I apologize, everybody, because as everybody watching knows, I got my admin rights stripped away from me back during Mania. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what'll happen if Tanner disappears.
Steven said, Worlds Collide better than Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank sucks, in my opinion. I thought it had a few good things. The Jacob Fatu turn on Solo, I thought was good. The shocking return of R-Truth, or Ron Killings now, I should say, was good. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty predictable show. I mean, sometimes there's nothing wrong with the show being predictable, but I've seen worse, seen better. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
What? Stud Paul in the house. Oh boy, here we go.
Came here for you, Pluggo. Came here for you.
And Pluggo said, a rumor has it Fyter Fest is still going on. That was a long Wednesday night. 4 hours was long, but like Majin said, 4 hours, another 4 hours on Wednesday. I was dead tired by the end of Fyter Fest last week. Let's do it again. Yeah, and I definitely got some comments on what I liked and didn't like on the 4 hour block. That was Fyter Fest. I'm already more excited about Summer Blockbuster though. I think the card looks pretty good for Wednesday night. But Paul, before we get into talking about Fyter Fest, let's go over some things going on in the news around AEW, shall we?
Let's do it.
In the news. All right, the first one, Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer believes Collision should move to Thursday nights from Saturday nights. He believes that's maybe why they're testing this 4 hour block this past week and next week. Of course, Turner's got some other obligations going on the weekend as well. But he thinks Thursday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. would be better than Wednesday from 10 to midnight or Saturday from 8 to 10. What are your thoughts on that? Would you be more likely to tune into Collision more frequently live if it was on Thursday nights instead of Saturday nights?
Probably, because Saturday nights, I mean, it's Saturday night. Yeah, it's all right for fighting, but, it's all right for a lot of other things, too.
Yeah, Pluggo's saying NBA's gone, so that might work, but they'd be countering Between Two Beards.
Pluggo, I love you. I love Between Two Beards, but you could do watch-alongs then from time to time.
You could do watch-along from time to time. That's a good point, Paul. That's a good point. And reacting to stuff while it's happening. That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I would definitely
talk about during a match, and then big spot happens, you get to react to it live versus I was thinking that was a good spot.
I would definitely be one to tune in more frequently to Collision live if it was on Thursday than Saturday. Just a lot of times seems like we're doing something out of the house, or even if we're in the house on a Saturday night, we're watching something else, and then I'm catching up on Collision after the wife falls asleep, or maybe even the following day on Sundays. So
yeah.
So,
but I do have to say to Stephen Chambers' Money in the Bank sucking comment, how is it that Mark Briscoe is busted open in the first match of Fyter Fest, and we go all Money in the Bank without a drop of blood?
Because they're still trying not to have much blood, Paul. Still PG programming.
But I mean, when you hit your head the way some of them guys hit their heads on ladders and stuff, you're gonna get busted open. Let it happen.
They're working you, Paul.
Nah.
They're working you.
All, in the words of another famous Paul, it's all part of the show.
He's a lying sack of crap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll never know the real truth, but I think they legit released R-Truth and got so much fan backlash. Like, we made a bad decision, re-signed the guy to a new contract, and there we have it. I don't think it was part of the show. I don't think it was a work. If it was a work, a lot of the locker room got worked, and then they're going to be pissed off. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because I mean, they even Truth removed everything WWE related, changed his name from R-Truth back to Ron Killings. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if it was not a work, then, or if it was a work, then
Yeah.
it was a major
I
good
mean,
thing.
Fightful's, and we're gonna get back to AEW, but I knew
Yeah,
this would come up, so I want to hit on it real
of
quick.
course.
I mean, Fightful's reported that there was independent promotions already reaching out to R-Truth, doing inquiries about his availability. I mean, and I thought Cody kind of leaked it in the press on the post Money in the Bank stuff last night to the fans. He's like, "We heard you, so we made the move to bring Truth back." I mean, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. Steven, not going to get seats on Thursday Collision and ROH tapings. Fans not going to stay for at least 4 hours because people have to work early in the morning. Better off staying on Saturdays. I think they should just do away with ROH. They won't, but
They won't. I mean, we just had a ROH TV title match this week.
okay. I'm glad you brought that up. 'Cause that was one of my. No, I'm going to save it for one of my dislikes. Remind me of that though. Bring up the ROH TV title and remind me of that because.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Other news items. Did you see that Will Ospreay's partner Alex Windsor is going to be joining AEW? Says she's all elite.
I did not.
Yeah. She's been wrestling on the independents over in the UK. So, yeah. So add another one to the women's division.
Yeah, that's going to make work home life a little easier to obtain.
She's 31 years old. So, yeah. And she's been on AEW before. She was on an episode of Rampage, teamed with Anna Jay to face Statlander and Willow. And she had that was last May, and she had a singles match against Timeless Tony Storm on Rampage a few weeks after that. So
okay.
And according to this report, she's already been featured on AEW and ROH programming in 2025, challenging Athena for the ROH Women's World Championship at Global Wars Australia back in February. So there we go. So, and of course, she wrestled in Japan before the UK. So she's been on the Indies for a while, but that'll be good for them. Good for them. They could travel over here together. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Bring the kid with.
Yeah, and the last newsworthy item I have in regards to AEW is some a backstage update on the status of Camille, who we haven't seen on TV since 2024. And Fightful Select reported that Camille will not be returning anytime soon, as she is set to be part of a television show, which will keep her occupied for much of the summer. The report highlighted how her upcoming project is similar to Wardlow's hiatus from AEW. I don't know if you saw that, Paul, but Wardlow had a legit injury and then got into a car accident, which made it worse. And now he's working on a television project, so that's why they haven't brought him back. So, sources in AEW have revealed that no explanation was given to Camille as why she's been sidelined for the last few months, and that why she was pulled out of her storyline with Mercedes Moné. Tony Khan felt it wasn't effective. So, but Mercedes was reportedly interested in working with Camille, with plans for them to have a match. It was discussed back in December. So she has several years remaining on her contract, will not be leaving the promotion anytime soon.
That's always a plus.
Her last match was in October 24 when she faced and lost to Chris Statlander.
Yeah. But, so many times we hear people have a multi-year contract and then they show up on a random Tuesday night. So,
I do like this by Majin. Before we get there, I just want to say, sucks for Mercedes that the biggest heel move she could have made was eating a well-done steak on live television. Yeah, I agree with Majin. It's pretty much like eating a shoe. What's your go-to? How do you like your steak cooked, Paul?
Medium rare.
Yeah, I'm a medium guy to medium rare. I'd rather have medium rare than medium well. So
Yeah.
I'm medium. My wife's medium well. But yeah, well
At
done.
least she's not well done, because then you'd have to get a divorce.
Yeah. Well, I've seen. I mean, she would rather be well done than medium, though. I mean, we medium wells medium wells about the rarest she'll go. But yeah, no, and that steak was huge. That was a big boy.
Yeah.
And I loved that Tony took it and just gnawed at it with her hands. So, Steffi says medium rare or medium well is okay. And Majin said, I knew there was a reason I liked you guys. And Steffi says medium rare for steak place.
You know, Majin, it's not because we're the number one AEW podcast. It's because how we like our steaks. I'll take it.
We'll take it. Steven Chambers said AEW has not been booking Deanna Peraza. Looks like she's concentrating on getting her degree. I know she's been part of those ads, of course, for the online education, but I'm still disappointed in the way she's been handled since she joined the company, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Majin, you're right. Tony couldn't even chew that steak. Yeah. Now, man, I'm getting hungry now, even though I've already ate dinner. Now I'm thinking about steak.
I had tacos for dinner, so I'm good.
I think I'm having tacos tomorrow night. We had homemade pizzas, so they're pretty good.
Oh, that's always a plus.
Yeah. So, all right, Paul. Let's get into what was Fyter Fest, Dynamite, and Collision. 4 hours of AEW action. Actually, 4+ hours because Tony's a sicko and did an overrun on a 4-hour show. Which,
of course, he did.
Kind of popped me, to be honest, even though I was half asleep watching that main event. But let's talk about our likes and dislikes from Fyter Fest, and I'll let you go first, Paul. What was one thing you liked Wednesday night?
I think probably my favorite moment of the night was Will Ospreay's promo, and more specifically, the AEW sucks right now because you're champion, and then that look of crap that came over his face almost immediately, like, I shouldn't have said that the way I said that. You know, people out there are going to run with it that Ospreay says AEW sucks.
Right. I know what he was trying to say, but
and
of
course I always love when. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
And of course, I always love when Kenny Omega's on my TV. So,
yeah, no, I had one of my likes, Ospreay's promo to open the show. I thought was strong. Crew coming out was kind of dumb. I mean, even Ospreay's face, like, what the heck? You know, set up for a match with Ospreay and Leo Rush, which was fine to kick off the Collision later in the night. But I don't know, it was just kind of random. It kind of felt like, out of anybody, those guys, like, coming out here to confront one of your top baby faces in the company, kind of strange. But what do you think about Swerve Ospreay 2 next week or this upcoming Wednesday on Summer Blockbuster? You like it, or would you rather have saved it for All In, or are we going to see it at All In? All those questions to you, Paul.
I do like it. Because those two always put on such amazing matches separately and even more amazing together. I would like to see it at All In, but it would be a show stealer at All In. I mean, even if Hangman wins the belt, people would still talk about Swerve Ospreay over Hangman winning the title off of Moxley, in my opinion. So I'm okay with it. And if they do it, if they do the rubber match, if that's what it comes down to, at All In, do it early so we have a little bit of a chance to recover before the main event.
Man, I'm taking Shep's place tonight, and I'm agreeing with Majin here. Yes, I agree. I have a feeling it'll be Ospreay and Swerve against, he says, the Bucks of Youth, aka the Young Bucks. I think that's where we get, yeah, I don't know how we get there exactly. I think that makes sense with the story, because then they can take them out earlier in the night in the card on All In. That way they can't be part of the match of Hangman and Moxley. Or maybe there's some stipulation here. Maybe somehow if Swerve and Ospreay beat the Bucks, nobody's allowed at ringside in the main event or something. I mean, it'll be a fun tag match with those four, anyways, if that's the route they go. But I feel like some sort of stipulation would raise the stakes even more and raise fan interest even more in the match.
And I think we'll definitely start to see that develop. Maybe the Bucks interfere and it ends in the very rare no contest. We don't see those very often on AEW, DQs, no contests, things like that. Maybe the Bucks get involved, the ref throws out the match, and that's kind of how we start to build this for All In. That way it's not, oh, it's the go-home show. By the way, here's this tag match that everybody's been talking about, and we just made it official.
Yeah. Yeah, and if they do go the route of, whatever happens Wednesday night between Swerve and Ospreay, and they want to run it back at All In, I kind of like Steven Chambers' ideas here of a Texas death match or a Texas barbed wire death match, something Texas related, hardcore.
Just no exploding.
Yeah. No, they're not doing that again. Just quit bringing that up, Paul, for God's sake. Majin said Hangman better win. If Tony chooses to swerve us and have Mox win, there'll be a riot in Texas.
And I only bring it up because it was either yesterday or today. I was scrolling videos on Facebook and found an indie show that did the same thing, that put on a better explosion than AEW did. And it was an indie promotion.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing in 2021. It's still embarrassing in 2025.
Almost as embarrassing as her.
Nah, not getting me there. Not getting me there. One of the best female wrestlers in the world. Mercedes Moné, everybody listening, for that's not watching and tuning in. Paul's pointing to his TV behind him. He's trying to get me going already.
Majin, what are your thoughts on Mercedes Moné?
This is where I need JPJ in the chat.
Yeah.
Except he's
maybe Pluggo.
Maybe Pluggo. I think see, Steven's on your side. You're getting everybody on your side. That's okay.
She's running herself into the ground. I'm sorry.
You'll be sorry when she's when she's the women's champ after All In. You won't be able to handle it. No, she might not be.
I hope not.
I think the telling sign will be if she's still TBS champion going into All In or not. If she is, I don't think she walks out as AEW champ. If she's not, I think she's walking out as AEW champ. That's just my prediction here. How many ever weeks out we are from All In.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Brandon James says Tony's winning. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I would be surprised if they have two new world champs coming out All In. I'd be surprised. So I'm expecting at least one.
So if Tony and Mercedes go early and the belt changes hands, you don't think Hangman wins?
If Mercedes, beats Tony early, then I think we're in trouble for the Hangman Moxley match. Probably.
Okay. All right.
Probably. Yep. And Majin said, we'll all be sorry if that happens. I think we'd all rather Mercedes go over Tony than Mox go over Hangman at this point, though.
You're right. I can't deny that.
Yeah. Because if Mox goes over, I think we're looking till Wrestle Dream. I don't think they'll pull the trigger at Forbidden Door or at All Out.
Yeah. No, they won't.
I know, Majin. I know. I just, maybe my theories are wrong. Maybe I'm way wrong, but I'm still nervous about it. I just want Hangman to be champ over Moxley. I wanted Hangman or Ospreay, whoever came out of that match. One of my things, I think my favorite thing on the show was after the 4-way international title match, which was a good match, by the way. Saw Kenny Omega be victorious. We heard the coin flip. Okada comes down. They put belt to belt, face to face, shove each other, get in a little bit of a brawl. Both try to hit their finishers on each other, but to no prevail. Then later in the night, we got a huge announcement. Supposed to be from Tony Khan, but it was Tony Schiavone telling us that we're getting Okada versus Ospreay at All in Texas. This is Okada versus Ospreay 5. First time on U.S. soil. First time since 2018. Both guys have 2 wins against each other. So this is the rubber match number 5. I'm excited about this one.
And it's title for title.
Title for title. I'm hoping it turns into a unification match. I want to see these titles be unified.
Yeah. It's time. I mean, the Continental was a great idea, but the tournament's the only thing it's got going for it.
Yeah.
So what do you call these titles? Do you just stick Continental, or do you stick International, or do you come up with a whole new name after they're unified?
Intercontinental. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
I like international better than Continental.
It's too close to the other.
It is, but I don't know. I just like it. Sounds better to me. International sounds better than Continental. I don't know, but and I think the international title design's way better than the Continental design.
Just needs that white strap.
I'm in Majin's head tonight. He said Intercontinental.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's one of those things, like, even if they do unify it, if it's they get rid of one belt and it's just the other one, or if it's 2 belts, that the champion carries around, which I wouldn't like that. But
no, because then it's 2-belt Omega.
Steven saying Omega wins at All In rematch, Forbidden Door, 2 out of 3 falls. I don't know. It's tough telling at Forbidden Door, because I think a majority of that card is going to be New Japan versus AEW. We might get one match, though, AEW versus AEW, like we did last year, Ospreay versus Swerve.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. I agree with the rematch. Whoever wins, have a rematch. But to bury this for good, instead of a 2 out of 3 falls or whatever, it's a last man standing.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, that's something we don't see any form of that in AEW.
I think this match at All In will be the only match we get of these 2 guys, singles match we get of these 2 guys in a while.
Yeah.
It's number 5. It's the match Tony's wanted to do ever since AEW started. Yeah. Modern says that 2 out of 3 falls match will cause Meltzer to be like a Randy Marsh meme. You know the one. Oh, yeah. I know the one you're talking about. And Steven Chambers says, steel cage, keep the Bucks out.
They're too busy trying to help Mox retain his title.
Which we still don't know the partnership there, the reason why. It's still something we need to explain too.
It was in the documents they shredded.
Which we still don't know what was on those. So, Paul, what was another thing you enjoyed Wednesday night?
The match that's going on behind me while it's a commercial break right now, but the women's tag match.
That was a good one.
Phenomenal tag match. And of course,
a lot of fun.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when Shivani says there's a big announcement from Tony Khan tonight? I know a lot of people on ICW went to women's tag titles.
I want to see the women's tag titles. I think we're going to get the women's tag titles. I think it was one of my likes of the show was Ty Mello's return. It's been a long time. It was nice to see her back helping Anna Jay out. Now we're going to get that tag match against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford upcoming Wednesday on Blockbuster. But I think there's enough. there's enough depth. They need to form more teams. I know Majin and I were talking about that on X the other night. But they can do it, and I think women's tags would be good. I was against it in the past because of the use of the women's division and how many titles are in AEW. But I think they're at a good point that they can do it now. But I did think, and you can even go back and look at the text. Say you and Shep. I predicted that the big announcement was going to be Omega Okada.
Oh yeah, I mean there was no doubt that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I knew they were going to run. The internet was going to run with it. They always do. I mean, the internet's been calling for women's tag titles in AEW since 2019.
Yeah.
They wanted it over some of the mid card titles. So
sure. And while we're on it, on talking about the women's division, I know we're not on dislikes, but my biggest dislike, 4 hours, we had two women's matches, and one of them was a squash. On 4 hours of programming.
Mm-hmm.
Inexcusable.
One on each show.
Inexcusable in 2025. And I've thought lately, last few months, they've been doing a lot better job with the booking of the women's division. But that was awful. Yeah. Awful the other night. I'm glad he's already setting up more matches for Blockbuster, the women's side. I'm glad to see that because you got a lot of backlash online, and Tony and AEW deserve so. There wasn't even many backstage segments with women. 4 hours of programming. Like, you could have cut some time off of some other matches. There were some matches on the card that probably weren't even needed. There was matches added during the show that you could have added a women's match. Really, really bugged me.
And I agree, especially with, it being Lady Frost, who was squashed. That's a type of character that to me shouldn't have been squashed. She's built, she's got a good history. She's not Fuego del Sol here. All right. You could have had Fuego get squashed in that amount of time. But to have Frost get squashed like that was ridiculous.
Yeah, she's good. She makes other people look good. Tekla's alike for me, and I know Majin's drooling over there in the comments about her. Her presentation's awesome. I think she's going to do really well in America in an American wrestling promotion. I think she'll do better at AEW than she did at Stardom. Even, she's a beast. Her presentation's awesome. Her Toxic Spider thing's awesome. But yeah, I felt bad for Lady Frost. I did. There was other opponents they could have put in there, but what it is. There is a comment here I wanted to get to, a good question. Mon says, "Hey Tanner, when she's back, do you think Harley Cameron will form a stable of sorts with TJ?" Paul, you go ahead and answer this one first because I got my own opinion on what's going to happen here.
I could see it. The three of them would work well together. I think Harley's still kind of trying to figure out where she fits. They've had her bounce a little bit of everywhere with all sorts of different talent, trying to find something. I think her and Anna would mesh more than, and we've seen those two mesh very well, better than her and Ty will. But I think the three of them could do a very good thing.
I think she comes back. They try to form a stable, but Ty and Anna Jay turn on Harley Cameron. Make a nice little heel tag team. Then you know who I would pair Harley with? Take a guess.
Mercedes.
No. Because I keep Harley as a face, and this lady can be a face. We've kind of seen her be a tweener. We've seen her be a heel and a tweener, I would say. Haven't seen her on TV for a while.
Who you got?
Nyla Rose. I think Nyla and Harley could be extremely entertaining with backstage promos.
Because Nyla is real entertaining on the mic. I will give Nyla that much.
Yes.
I always forget about her because they don't use her enough.
Look at the AEW originals as far as the women's division is concerned. Not a whole
She's
lot
one
on
of the
television
few
right now.
left. Yeah.
Rio injured last year. Haven't seen her since. Sheeta, I think, has been injured or has VC issues. Britt Baker must be in the doghouse for some reason. Not too many left.
She's like done, I think. I don't think she's coming back to AEW.
And I think she's got 2 years left on her contract. So she's going to be sitting at home for a while.
She's doing stuff with DraftKings.
But like that's the thing,
the
though.
Sponsor of AEW.
I hate that AEW does it. I hate that WWE does it. I hate that every promotion does it and lets people just sit at home. If you're not going to use them and have no plans, let them go.
Absolutely.
Let them go. In their contract early. Let them go. I just hate letting people sit at home.
Yep.
Everybody's saying poor Lady Frost. Queen Aminata's next. No Jamie Hayter yet. But I think that's coming down the line. I mean, I think that's the all-in match, Tekla and Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
Yep. And Majin saying, can we let Thunder Rosa go too? She doesn't shut up. Busted open doesn't help her with that.
So. Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Anything else I liked? Well, I will say, okay, we may have only gotten 2 women's matches, which is a huge dislike for both of us. But at least we saw, let's see here, 2, 4, 5, 7 women showcased in those 2 matches. I had to do math real quick because for some reason I was coming up with like 10 or 11, and I'm like, that's not right.
And I'm going to tie this in with this comment too. Like you were saying, we were just talking about our dislike to the use of Women Wednesday. And Steve Chambers watched my beef with Nick Wayne. It wasn't Nick Wayne. It wasn't anything to do with Nick Wayne. I really enjoyed the 4-way ROH TV title match. I thought all guys did great. All 4 guys in it. Wish all 4 were on TV more often. Especially AR Fox. I want to see he has not got a singles win in AEW yet. And the dude's over wherever he goes. He's phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
He's phenomenal in the ring. And I'm a Sammy guy. I thought Sammy was good. My beef is, one, I'm tired of seeing ROH titles be defended so often on AEW television after we were told a while back that wasn't going to happen. And 2, if we're going to see that, why can't we get Athena on AEW television defending her ROH title?
Yeah. Every other title's been defended on AEW except Athena's. What is the issue there?
And, she tore the house down with Mercedes and hasn't been back on AEW television since. Drives me crazy. Yeah. I don't get it.
Nope.
I don't get it. Like, she's awesome. Like, I'm guessing her contract's probably coming up sometime in the near future. I'm hoping she stays around. So I think she's fantastic. But man, get her on AEW television. That's one ROH title I'd like to see defended on AEW television. The rest I could live without.
Absolutely. And I was just going to mention that comment. Yeah.
But what do you do with her there?
Texas. That's why the original thought I agreed with JPJ on, and I say JPJ because he had to pick and Pluggo just agreed with him. Sorry, Pluggo, but we both know you just agreed with JPJ here.
Correct.
Having Hayter take on Storm opened the door for Athena Monet for the TBS title or for the ROH title or for both of them. I mean, I'm
not disagreeing, but
call it a Texas death match.
I'm not agreeing with like your reasoning, what you're saying, but they had to do their biggest women's match at their biggest show, and their biggest women's match, like it or not, is Mercedes Tony.
I know it is, but
is ROH the day before All In?
I don't know.
I didn't. I thought the next ROH show, and like you said, I don't follow ROH very closely. I thought it was in Philadelphia in September.
Who knows?
Oh, interesting. But yeah, Steven's saying it's before All In. Yeah, I could think of versus Thunder Rosa, both from Texas. Okay.
Or I wish I had the pen. Tony Khan, listen to this. you're pushing Mercedes. Okay. I hate that, but you like her. A lot of people do like her. Tony Khan, have her defend the title against Athena ahead of time. Have her drop the TBS title to Athena, and then have Athena on All In defending her new TBS title against Thunder Rosa.
And then Mercedes is walking out as a world champ if she loses that TBS title before All In.
I know that's where it was going.
Yeah.
But I just don't want her having both the TBS and the world at the same time. And that is still my biggest fear, is that's what they're going to do.
Hey, according to Steven Chambers, she got another title in Austria, the EWA title.
She lost one, gained one, so she's still Mercedes, 4, 5, 75 belts?
Yeah, 75. Yeah.
The pervert's version of the belt collector.
I saw a comment up here from Mr. Antics earlier. I mean, the Max Caster squash was not needed in all honesty. I actually put Caster under one of my likes, even though he got squashed by Hobbs. Do you know why? Because as crazy as his gimmick is, as annoying as it is, being the best wrestler alive, it's getting over with the crowd. His chant is getting over with the crowd. And I've always been one, when the Acclaim was together, saying that Bowens is the guy. Bowens is better in ring. Bowens is the guy that can push singles. Bowens isn't hitting for whatever reason. The five tool wrestler. You know the baseball terminology there. The primetime player. It's not hitting. It's just not hitting. Caster is. I think a lot of it is Billy Gunn. I don't think Billy Gunn's needed next to Bowens anymore.
No, we thought that Bowens was going to need him in the breakup of the Acclaimed, but I don't think he does. He's cut some promos without him, and he's been good.
He's got cool gear. He's got cool theme. The rest of it's not hitting, though. And like Ahmad just said, he's doing the Acclaim stuff on his own. Like, he's back to doing the scissoring again. It's just, man. You remember how over those guys were at one time?
Oh, man. That's what I was going to say, is Caster is almost as over as he was when the Acclaimed first got over, when they were their hottest. When he was coming out dropping lines on Vince so bad that they had to bleep him and cut it out of the replays.
It's going to be a huge pop when he gets a win over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Over some heel or something.
I will say what they're doing with Caster is the right way to do it, because he's not going out there saying, I'm the best wrestler alive, and then picking up victory after victory after victory after victory. He's losing every single time. So when he finally picks up that win, his first singles win, the roof is going to blow.
Yeah. Mr. Antics says, as much as I would want Mercedes to lose the TBS title, I think AEW is too far deep with her undefeated single streak for her to lose before All In. Probably right.
Yeah.
Probably right.
She's going to beat Jade's streak, isn't she?
Probably. Steve Chambers says Caster beats Danhausen or Cheeseburger. I don't think the crowd would get on the side of him beating Danhausen, but maybe Cheeseburger.
Yeah. Or the newest debut in TNA with the Hardy Boys, with the misspelling on Matt Hardy's shirt. Hometown guy or hometown man or whatever he was.
Anything else, Paul, you liked or didn't like on Dynamite? I got a few more things. Steffi giving throwing some shade towards Majin's way.
Magenhausen. I'm still not completely sold on these guys, the Hurt Syndicate, with MJF.
Well, they're having the official contract signing for MJF on Wednesday. Did I see that correct today? I'm gonna pull it up on Twitter just to make sure I saw that correctly.
Now, I know there's a lot of probably not gonna happens around this, but think of the pop if in the middle of the contract signing, the official fourth member of the Hurt Syndicate shows up.
And that would be
Cedric Alexander.
No, it's the trios match against Speedball Commander and Kevin Knight. What I saw was old, I think.
Oh. But I mean, to have them do something and then Cedric show up and just annihilate MJF.
But then that makes MJF a babyface.
He doesn't have to be a babyface. He goes back to being MJF. What happens every time MJF joins a faction? They turn on him or he turns on them. Every time.
Oh, it's going to happen eventually. But no, at first I was on board bringing Cedric in, but now I don't think Cedric's needed now. I still think MJF's playing Hurt Syndicate, and he'll do something to take him off. Eventually they'll kick him out, and then I'm sticking with Hammerstone and Halliday. I'm sticking with it. I've been saying it since this whole angle started.
You have.
I'm sticking to my guns there.
And see, the reason I say MJF isn't needed in the Hurt Syndicate, and I'd be okay with, like Cedric joining them. MJF still has that specialness around him because he's not wrestling all the time. So when we do see him wrestle, it's a special feeling.
So there is a signing and a trios? Sorry to cut you off, Paul. I'm just trying to get clarification.
No, you're fine. With the Hurt Syndicate doing more wrestling than MJF normally does, I don't want to see that shine kind of fade off of MJF. And I'm afraid if he starts wrestling regularly in trio spots, because that's kind of where we're going with this, that we're not going to feel special when MJF is in the ring.
I think he needs to be in the ring more. I mean, he's a good wrestler. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, look at all the other guys. How many matches they have?
I know.
He's not Sting.
No, he's not. He's MJF.
Right.
Once a month, put him in the ring. To me, that's all he needs.
Steven said he'd like to see AEW get Shotzi. And Majin's going with Hammerstone and Bishop Dyer, a.k.a. or formerly known as Baron Corbin. That'd be a good one. Real quick, I know we're trying to wrap this up right around an hour, Paul, because we both got some other things to get to after this pod tonight. But a few other things I did want to say. Another dislike of mine, still no advancement of Hook and the Ops.
No. That's just, and you had Powerhouse Hobbs in the squash match, and I didn't
4 hours of television. 4 hours of television, no mention of anything.
And I didn't fully catch that segment. He came out with the trios title still, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, down to the crowd.
Yeah. So
He even on the Starcast, that's the big fan expo event they're doing the weekend of All In. The Ops is advertised, but no Hook.
yeah. So, what's going on there? I'm at a point I want to see Hook go back to Hook. And by that, I mean eating chips in the backstage with Taz as his manager again.
I think he needs something different. I want him to turn heel. I think he needs totally different repackage of Hook.
They never will. At least not right now.
If they don't, he might not be in AEW too much longer.
But here's the thing you could do with that. And it turns him heel. He gets mad at the Ops because they replaced him with Hobbs. They're letting Hobbs keep the title, even though when he comes back, it should be Hook's,
Mm-hmm.
But that first version of Hook we got, where he was that silent killer, as Majin commented, that's what I want, where those Hook matches felt special, not on the verge of being kind of comic.
That's fair. That's fair. I've got it. The shine is wore off Hook, definitely.
And if you take him heel, you could make him silent, that silent killer again, put him with somebody, and not the Death Riders, though. But put him with somebody and have them be the mouthpiece. He sits there eating the chips or the Cheetos or whatever and attacks.
And as far as Death Riders, I see a lot of comments about Death Riders. I have nothing to say about them this week. I thought Moxley and Briscoe's match was fine. I wish Mark Briscoe would take some time off television. I feel like the guy wrestles too much. Like, I think he's fun, but he's kind of gotten a little stale for me. I hate saying it.
We see him so much, and
we see him so often. Yeah, exactly. I think just taking some time off would do him good. In Death Riders, I mean, I like how Hangman and Ospreay had each other's backs, but besides that, whatever. Death Riders, whatever. I was glad they were over with early on in the show for the most part. Majin say we need Chris Jericho back. I don't know when he'll be back. I mean, Fozzie's done touring. He's just taking a break. And in Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp was reporting his contract's done with AEW at the end of the year. Does AEW? I pose this to you, Paul. And then I have one more statement, and then I'm out of words for tonight. Does AEW in 2025 need Chris Jericho anymore?
No, they don't. I'm sorry. I've always been a Jericho fan. My favorite thing growing up, one of them was Chris Jericho. I loved the countdown teaser for the original Y2J. I loved his promo when he debuted against The Rock. But at his age, he could do commentary. He could do backstage stuff. He doesn't need to be in the ring. I love Jericho. I honestly would love to just sit there and spend, 2 hours, 3 hours with him, picking his brain, knowing the amount of knowledge that I could get. But I think he lets his contract run out and goes home for the Hall of Fame.
Even though he says he doesn't care about it.
Yeah, but he's showing up on more and more stuff of theirs.
Like what?
He's done several little vignettes where, they're honoring somebody and Jericho had done something with them. So we get to hear from Jericho.
I haven't seen either one of those for a while, ever since Tony approved a whole batch. It seems like neither company's approved anything for a while.
Right. That's what I mean, though. We had that whole, okay, it has been a while. All right.
I mean, it was probably a couple of years ago.
But still, if you follow Chris Jericho on Facebook, which is a stupid thing to do, I think.
He didn't even run his own Facebook.
No, Web is Jericho is all WWE news.
It's somebody else running it. I don't think it has anything to do with it.
I know he doesn't, but I'm saying, as you stand back and you look at that, if you don't follow dirt sheets and don't understand that he's not running that, you're going, okay, the signs are all there for WWE's return.
But that's why you're smarter than that, Paul. You're smarter than that.
I know, but it got real bad this last time that he left AEW for Fozzie's tour. And there were, I heard, and again, I know they're probably not reliable because it's not SRS, but I saw things floating around the internet that Jericho may not go back to AEW, write out his contract at home, and then be done.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, we'll see.
I don't know if that means he's going to go back to WWE. And if he does, I just want him to, pop up, accept a Hall of Fame ring, maybe do some commentary, pre-show stuff, with Big E, get some of the other people off there. Let's fill it up with former wrestlers, not just journalists, and have fun.
Yeah, I just don't know where he fits in AEW's picture anymore. They're pushing more of their young guys. He was instrumental getting AEW off the ground in 2019. He was needed. He was needed to be the first champion. It was great the first few years. I just don't know. Where he fits in anymore. I will say, though, last time we saw him, when he was getting into it with Brian Keith and Big Bill, that was an interesting side of Jericho we hadn't seen in a while. If he can come back with that, I'll give it a chance. But I don't know when he returns.
Well, Stephen Chambers there says, I just made the list. A version of Jericho along that lines, I think would be okay.
He's still good at reinventing himself, though. I mean, he won't go close to what he's done before.
I know. But this learning tree just ruined him, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I didn't like anything learning tree except that last segment with Hook and the bounty hunter.
No, learning tree sucked. Bill. I thought the last few things of his sucked. I didn't enjoy the ROH championship runs, either one of them. So
no, it made us all think they were getting a TV deal out of it. Why else would you put a title on Jericho like that?
I think they were trying, but they didn't. And the last thing, Paul, I wanted to hit on real quick, and I know we're running out of time here. I'm disappointed we haven't got a push for or an advancement or more of a tease for Cope and Christian versus FTR at All In, because it sounds like that was the original plan, but it sounds like Christian wants to do the patriarchy thing longer. So that's probably on hold. So maybe we do see Cope return at All In, and maybe that sets something up for maybe like down the road at All Out, especially since it's in Canada where Christian and Cope are from. But I feel bad. I feel bad they wrote Cope off, and now he's just at home doing nothing because he was ready to go for this, I think, and they keep pushing it down the road because Christian wants to do more with the patriarchy, which I'm tired of the patriarchy. They need to just end it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with you. The patriarchy needs to end. Write it out till All In. We're a month away from that. All right. Yeah. I can deal with it for another month. But if we do it, I don't want to hear Cope's music. I don't want to hear You Think You Know Him and then, everything else. I want to hear nothing except 5-second pose. No music, no nothing, just the words 5-second pose. And then come out.
And I know it's going to take a while because they can't just come out and be buds again. Like, it's going to take some progression. So how we get there, I don't know. I still think we do, but now I'm kind of pushing that thought down the road in September at All Out instead of July at All In. So,
I mean, if they do the Cope return and they set it up for Toronto for All Out, that gives you just over 2 months to build this.
Right. Plenty of time. But like I'm saying, I just don't think there's any way it comes at All In now. I mean, we're like 5 weeks away. That's too quick. I thought that was the direction they were going, and then it just didn't happen. So
maybe we get the patriarchy turning on Christian at All Out. Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne just beating the holy hell out of Christian. Cope returns, comes down, saves him. They kind of have a stare off. They don't really shake hands or anything. Just kind of that stare off at the end of the segment where it's like okay, Christian goes to the back. Cope follows him like, hey, look, I just saved you. Let's talk about this. Even if it's just one time, let's talk about this.
I think he has to come back to attack FTR first, and then somehow he needs a partner, and he's like, I need the most dastardly bastard in this company, and it's Christian. Maybe that's how they reform. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they get there, but they're going to get there. It's just
it's just a matter of time.
Nope. But 4 more hours of AEW on Wednesday. Buckle up, everybody. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it feels more like an action-packed 4 hours instead of kind of like this past week, which had some good stuff, some bad stuff, and honestly, 2 hours of Collision that kind of felt like a rampage to me. Just saying.
And hopefully it's got more of that big fight feel, unlike the just over 3 hour long Money in the Bank that felt like it could have been an episode of Raw.
Well, Swerve and Ospreay will be a big fight feel match, and it'll take up a good amount of time on Wednesday night. So we got that going for us.
Yep. And I'm looking forward to more women's matches. Let's get more women's tag matches. Let's let the women's tag division develop itself so it doesn't feel forced when we say, hey, by the way, here's women's tag titles. We're going to hold a tournament.
Yeah. Because Tony loves his tournaments.
That's why I said that. Because then you're not just throwing random people together. You've had these buildups, these teams that have just formed naturally, like Willow and Stat, Anna and Ty Mello, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, Penelope and Megan Bain.
Plenty of them.
There's almost a tournament right there in those teams.
Let the women shine, as Modern said.
And if we're going to stop going with multiple women's matches on TV, then damn it, Tony, give us a 1 or 90-minute show or 60 to 90-minute show once a week that's just strictly women's matches.
Or get us an annual pay-per-view, as WWE is doing for the first time in 7 years due to fan backlash, pretty much. So.
Yeah, but, they also showcase their women a little more than AEW does.
They do.
So, I mean, you could give it 60 to 90 minutes, just women's matches, put 4 or 5 good matches on every week, let the women shine, voila. And then have their own pay-per-view.
And my last thought of the night that I'm handing over to you for anything else you got or for you to close the show. So I'm glad AEW is not in a corporate wrestling world. I am so sick of advertisements and sponsorships being everywhere. Unbelievable.
That mat was ridiculous.
And the ladder.
And the
tables.
Fireball.
And the tables with the Slim Jim.
Yep.
Just.
I don't mind it on the mat. Like the way AEW has it, it's kind of in the corners. No big deal.
It's a good question, Majin. Good question. When are we getting another video with your wife? I don't know. Hopefully I can get her back on. We had a lot of fun doing that. So I got some ideas. Just got to find the time and got to get her to agree to do so. So, yeah. Hopefully soon.
You could go over different types of matches.
Yeah, and Majin had an idea of some themes, some wrestling themes, different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got some good ideas.
You could teach her what an insert city named street fight is.
Paul's favorite, or an eliminator match. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah. From the jabroni Tanner Lee and his wife, it's time to talk matches in professional wrestling.
Yeah, see, hey, your good radio voice coming back there, Paul.
It never went away.
I've seen other people do that on YouTube. That would be interesting. Have a rank AEW wrestlers by hotness. I've seen other female content creators do that. That would be an interesting one. Only if I can do only if I can rank the women in front of her.
There you go. That's what you got to
do,
do.
right? Eye for eye.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep. I had a question that I was going to ask Shep. He's not here, so we'll wait till next weekend.
Okay.
For that one.
Yep.
But with that being said, be sure to follow the Kicking Out podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. Be sure to listen to the Kicking Out podcast wherever it is you listen to your podcast, and leave us that 5-star review, because we are 5-star KOP. And you heard it at the beginning of the show. We are the #1 AEW podcast. The man who said that can't lie, so you got to believe it. Be sure to follow kickingOutShop.com for all your merchandise, along with Pro Wrestling Tees. Just search up Kicking Out Podcast. And be sure to follow us on all social media. You can follow Austin Shepard at the Shep27.
The KOP predictions champ, I should say. I don't think he's got the title yet, though. I think we're still waiting at the ship out from Boston.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I still don't think he has it yet. So
Boston made that title irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, follow him at the Shep27. Follow Tanner Lee at Tanner Lee 92, and follow myself at Paul Zartman 87. And with that, for Austin Shepard and Tanner Lee, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.
This is where I say goodbye and good night. Bang!